I'm not ruling that there's going to be an eviction. I'm not ruling any of that.
Then why rule at all?
In a moment that feels like it belongs in the climax of a courtroom thriller, the judge delivers a line that cuts straight through the air. Because it's my job. It's brief, unwavering, and carries a weight that instantly commands attention. This isn't a throwaway comment. It's a firm reminder of who holds the gavel and the responsibility that comes with it. Judges don't just sit back and observe. They are the decision-makers who step in when the path forward isn't clear, who untangle the mess when arguments collide, and who ensure order doesn't slip away. With those 4 words, the tone of the room changes. Every eye sharpens, every posture stiffens. It's a declaration that this isn't a place for games or theatrics. The law is moving forward, and it's moving with precision. Whatever legal twists are waiting around the corner, one fact is now undeniable. The pace will be set by the bench, and it will be decisive, relentless, and impossible to ignore.
Because it's my job.
Okay,
Sit down.
you know,
He needs to get out.
Patrick Tatura versus Martin Youngs.
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court. Eric Wadowski, 65354 on behalf of plaintiffs.
good morning, Darwin Fair, defendant P number 31266.
The plaintiff filed a motion to lift the stay and enter an order of eviction. At the time, I had not received a response, but I thought I wasn't sure where other proceedings were. I realized what was represented in the motion. And so I set this for hearing.
To the legal greatest hits, because this attorney is reaching for a well-worn track that's been played into the ground, the endless loop of jurisdiction arguments. The judge poses a clear, pointed question, yet the response arrives like clockwork, perfectly rehearsed, identical every single time. What should be a sharp, on-target exchange quickly morphs into a legal version of déjà vu. It's the same melody on repeat, and while it might sound tedious to an outsider, there's nothing accidental about it. This is deliberate pacing. Every repeated phrase eats up precious minutes. Every sidestep nudges the case's trajectory in a subtle but significant way. The courtroom becomes less of a place for forward momentum and more of a record stuck on one stubborn groove. And until someone changes the track, the sound of progress will be nothing but static.
Well, Judge, I hope we would not be here today. We've been down this road a number of times, and your question is always the same question, and the answer is always the same answer, which is the Wayne County Circuit Court has not closed the file. There's still pending actions in front of the Wayne County Circuit Court that impact on the issue that's before this court. So unless we're here to argue the Wayne County Circuit Court motion, I don't know what more to say to the judge. There's really nothing more to say.
This property is located in Washtenaw County, however.
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Yeah,
Yes.
the property's in Washtenaw, so I'm not clear why I'm worried about anything being litigated in Wayne County.
Well, what happened?
Let me rephrase that. I don't know why I would be worried about that with reference to this action proceeding forth in the eviction happening.
Well, the reason, Judge, is
This is the moment when the tightly wound threads of the case begin to loosen, revealing the knot at its core, a single, weighty word: jurisdiction. The land at the heart of the dispute lies in Washington County, yet the larger settlement that directly affects it was authorized miles away in Wayne County. 2 counties, 2 court systems, and one dispute caught in the middle like a rope in a legal tug-of-war. That overlap creates more than just an administrative headache. It sparks a question with real consequences. Whose orders hold the upper hand? This isn't merely a map problem or a matter of mileage. It's about defining legal borders, determining the reach of authority, and deciding which bench ultimately gets the final word. And in a case this entangled, that single decision could shape every move that follows.
for the same reasons that occurred multiple times before this court, which is the property in Washtenaw County is subject to a settlement agreement that was entered into with the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So this is part and parcel of this global settlement. And the reality of it is that this case on this property is still subject to the jurisdiction of the Wayne County Circuit Court judge, as has been the case every time we get before this court. As every time we get before this court, it's the same issue, Judge. And now this is, I will admit, this is the first time I've heard the court say this, but the reality is still the reality. This property is part of, and Judge, I know you do not want me to repeat myself, and I don't like to repeat myself, but I'm a little concerned that if this is not being gotten across, is every time we get to come to court, it's because of the same issues of this global settlement that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge.
Well, no. Before I would, right. I mean, the reason the case is here is
By now, the case has drifted straight into legal Groundhog Day. Every hearing plays like a rerun. The same dispute, the same lines, the same weary tug of war over who's in the right. Forward motion? Nowhere in sight. It's a courtroom stuck in a holding pattern, circling the same points without ever landing. You can read it in the judge's face. The patience is thinning and fast. And honestly, who could blame them? At this stage, even the court reporter could probably copy-paste last month's transcript and call it a day.
for whatever its reasons. But part of the reason that things were stayed is because clearly it was headed up the chain, the appellate chain. My understanding is that's no longer the case.
No. And let me
know that.
No, that's not the case. And so let me explain it this way, Judge, because I'm trying to get into your head. What the court, I think, is concerned about is the Washtenaw County Circuit Court case that directly impact this case. And that case, the Washtenaw County Circuit Court case, which was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals.
Right.
Okay, that case was dismissed, Judge, as a result of a global settlement that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So what happens in this case is still being handled by the Wayne County Circuit Court judge, because the Washtenaw County case, which was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals, was voluntarily dismissed as a result of the settlement.
Let me cut to the chase. Why wouldn't I just lift my stay, issue the order of eviction, allow it to be executed at some future time, that they couldn't do it right away? Allow it to be executed at some future time.
And just like that, the judge carves out a middle path. The stay is lifted, the eviction order is signed, but its enforcement is put on pause. In simple terms, the case advances on paper, yet there's still a window of time before anyone has to pack up and leave. It's a careful balancing act. The process keeps moving, but the other side gets one final opportunity to shift the outcome. If they can convince Wayne County to step in, the momentum could change entirely. It's a measured strategic move, one designed to keep pressure on both sides while leaving the door open for a last-minute turn.
And if you're correct, then get a stay from Wayne County.
Okay, well, Judge, okay, now, and I'm hearing you, and I'll walk down that road with you. So the issue of the quote-unquote eviction is a function of the ownership of the subject property. The ownership of the subject property is specifically before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So let's assume that the court says, okay, I mean, enough's enough, although it's the same issue that has been before this court multiple times, and the court says the same thing multiple times, which is, I'm not going to do anything until the Wayne County Circuit Court has made a decision, which is what, okay.
I don't know that I said anything about Wayne County.
No,
I think I said something about Washtenaw County and the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court.
No, no.
Go ahead.
No. It's never about the Washtenaw County. It's always about Wayne County. It's always about Wayne County. It's never about Washtenaw County, because Washtenaw County, Judge, again, was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals. It was voluntarily dismissed as a result of the global settlement that was before Wayne County Circuit Court. Judge.
And Mr. Fair, I'm saying, let's assume for the sake of argument that you're correct. I have a feeling there's going to be disagreement as to what you're saying in part. But why then wouldn't I just grant the relief, issue the order, and then you get a stay of that and allow an opportunity so I wouldn't have it.
This is legal chess playing out in real time. The judge isn't just issuing a ruling. They're arranging the board for a calculated endgame. Yes, the eviction order stands, but it's wrapped in built-in safeguards. If the defense truly believes the Wayne County settlement carries authority, they now have a slim opening to prove it. It's a deliberate balance. Forward motion on one side, a final shot at reversal on the other. But the clock is already ticking, and when that window closes, the next move won't just be important. It'll be decisive.
Where it could be executed immediately, give you an opportunity to then get before the Wayne County Circuit Court, which you're saying this property is part of some global settlement, and allow that court to basically stay any order of eviction or enjoin the plaintiffs in this case from moving forward.
Okay, Judge, allow me to walk down that road. Okay, so
why is that a hard question? I don't need to be walked down the road. Why is that a difficult question to answer?
Because the hearing, no. Because the hearing that you're making reference to, that I should go before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge and ask for a stay, is a hearing that is essentially scheduled for July the 18th. That hearing will address the very point this court is making. So
then why don't I grant the relief, indicate that the writ cannot be executed until, if your hearing's on the 28th of July,
no, 18th. I'm sorry.
That it can't be executed until the 28th of July, giving the 10-day statutory period from the time of that hearing.
Okay, Judge, this is the road we always walk down, because what happens is on the 18th, we don't know what Judge Ewell will do. Judge Ewell may say, I'm not going to hear it on the 18th. Or, and Judge, I'm only going by what happened in the past, in the same.
Sorry, raising questions.
You're going to have to leave. You're going to have to leave.
I do not want to argue, Judge.
Go ahead.
Case. So what has happened in the past, which is probably what's going to happen today, is that on the 18th, Judge Ewell will do one of two things, which has happened in the past. When this issue is before this court, Judge Ewell may or may not hear the case on the 18th, or may hear the case on the 18th and then decide not to make a decision until sometime in the future. Now, again, Judge, I'm not saying this for the first time. This has been the history of this case. Now, if we look at what happened here, they filed a motion to go before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge.
And this is where the gamble finally reveals itself. The defense was betting big, counting on the Wayne County judge to shut the case down completely. Confident that the ruling would go their way, they moved forward with filings in another court, expecting everything to fall neatly into place. But instead of a quick victory, the plan unraveled. Now they're caught in two active court battles at the same time, scrambling to meet deadlines and argue on multiple fronts. The presiding judge takes it all in, and though nothing is said outright, the message is clear. High-stakes moves come with high-stakes consequences.
And it was scheduled for the following Friday. At the same time, they filed this motion in front of you and filed a motion in front of the 35th District Court, assuming that the Wayne County Circuit Court judge would close the file, because I will tell you, Judge, the question that you always ask, this is the question you always ask: what's the status of the Wayne County Circuit Court case? Is it open or is it closed? The answer is always the same. It's open. Your response is always the same. Well, I'm not going to do anything until the Wayne County Circuit Court makes a decision. And then a couple times, Judge, you said, I'm going to adjourn it to right after when the circuit court judge makes a decision.
So why don't I put an end to that and just grant their relief?
Well, because, Judge,
Because it doesn't leave you, Mr. Fair, without remedy. Because you can always ask the Wayne County Circuit Court, as I've said, to either stay that writ if they've taken some jurisdiction over this property, or to enjoin the defendants from proceeding on the writ that I would issue.
well, Judge, this is a conversation we've had at nauseam all the time. And
Well, I'm trying to end it.
And what I think but I think, Judge, what you recognize is, well, that means I've got to run to the Wayne County Circuit, the Wayne County Circuit Court, ask for a stay. The judge is going to say, aren't we going to be hearing this on the 18th? And then on the 18th, like what has happened in the past.
Well, hold on a second. No, you wouldn't have to do that if you would listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I could grant the plaintiff's relief. They could not do anything. And I'm not even saying on the 18th. I'm saying for a 10-day period after that hearing. So if the judge at that point in Wayne County doesn't do anything, the 10-day statutory period would begin to run on the writ.
Wait a minute, wait, Judge. Okay, so the motion that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court, which plaintiff acknowledges affects what this court can do. What they're asking the Wayne County Circuit Court is close the case, close it. And then if it's closed, then they can come to you and say, hey, Judge, it's closed. So let's go back to that point. On the 18th, if the judge does not close it, if the judge does what he has done in the
If
past.
the judge does not close it, you could request of the judge to enjoin the plaintiffs from proceeding forward. If the judge does close it, the writ would proceed.
Well,
That seems really simple to me.
the 10 days after that.
Right, 10 days after.
But that means a couple things. Number one, if I'm hearing the court is saying, well, if it gets adjourned to August the 10th, August the 18th, another month. And if at that time, the judge closes it, that means in this interim period between July the 18th and August the 18th, by definition, they can't do anything.
No. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, you're saying the Wayne County Circuit Court has that this is part of some global resolution.
Correct.
Okay, I'll take you at your word for that. I've not seen the resolution. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me. What I am saying is, I will assume you to be correct. I will assume also that Judge Ewell will act within his authority regarding any agreement there is. Right?
Correct.
So if I grant the plaintiff's relief, built into that are enough protections for the defendant in terms of being able to request of Judge Ewell to enjoin the plaintiffs from acting. If that case is going to be adjourned out or he doesn't rule on that day.
No. Well, okay, Judge. And I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm going to put the past in the past because we've always in this situation and your position is real simple. Is it open or closed? If it's closed, if it's
No,
open,
no. The question is it pending or not?
okay.
So if the
still-
issue, no, Mr.
Yeah.
Freeman, if the issue before this court is pending somewhere elsewhere,
Correct,
that is always what I will address.
correct.
And I think properly so. It doesn't sound like that's what's happening here. It sounds to me, based upon what you're saying, and again, I haven't seen it, that there is some resolution of this global resolution, whatever it is. I'm saying, fine. There are still issues to be decided with that. They don't need to be decided here. And so that I could grant the relief that the plaintiff requests with enough safeguards that protect the defendant until whatever that issue to be resolved is.
Well, if the court is saying that the plaintiff in this case cannot act upon any decisions of this court pending.
That is not what I am saying. That is not what I'm saying, and you know that's not what I'm saying.
Can I ask you a question? Judge, my client wants to ask a question. You can say yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, we did everything. It seems like we get penalized every time, not in your court so much, but we do everything. We had a global settlement. 3 pieces of property, 1 in Washtenaw, 2 in Wayne County. We all signed, the lawyers all signed what had to be done to get that done. We do everything in the agreement. My family, do everything in the agreement. They refused to sign a paper, and we're here. And we're getting penalized by getting an eviction. No matter how you rule it, it's against us. Whether we settle something on the 18th or not. We're not supposed to even be here. This is a pending case in Wayne County Court that we all agreed to settle. That guy has the ruling. I don't know what we're
And
even here
sir,
for.
you, like your attorney, are not listening to me.
You're
I
saying you're
take
gonna
you
rule
at, if
and
you
give
want
up
to
your flag.
interrupt me, then you go right ahead.
Nope, I'm sorry. It's just, I've done everything for 7 years. I've worked up in this, and I've got, his client has jerked me around for 7 years.
Well,
And I haven't been able to live in a house I built. And then I'm gonna get an eviction notice that I know doesn't mean anything to you guys, but to my family, it means everything.
Sir, maybe you and your attorney should listen to what the court is proposing to do. Because both of you have been saying the same thing, that there is this agreement out there that is subject to the jurisdiction of the Wayne County Circuit Court. I'm not going to even begin to get involved in that.
Right. If you're, can I say one thing? I'm sorry, I'll leave.
No,
It's
no,
just-
no.
No, it's,
no.
he isn't
Judge-
good.
Judge didn't say. you
He's
couldn't.
always been
Hold it,
good,
hold it.
but
Judge didn't say
I
you
gotta
couldn't.
get out of here before I have a breakdown, man.
Yeah, Judge didn't say you couldn't say it, so why don't you say it?
All I am saying is there is this agreement. I've not read this agreement. I don't know what this agreement is per se in terms of how the court is ruling. Not even in a lot of ways have detailed specifics about what needs to be decided. Maybe the issues, sir, that you're raising need to be decided. What I'm saying is, as to this property, if indeed that's going to be decided in Wayne County as part of this agreement, I'm going to issue the order. I would issue the order of eviction, subject to the date that your next hearing is, and giving enough time so that your interest in regard to that settlement can be protected by Mr. Fair. That's all I am saying.